Hello everyone. So you'll probably hear my fan in the background. Apologies for that one. It's a little bit toasty up here. I've got a north facing window, so there is a lot of sun at the moment and a lot of heat. So bear with me with the fan. So today I'm painting up the captain for the Jade Warriors. Sorry if my fingers are in the way, but I'm trying to give you a look. I do them in sub-assemblies, so I've got pike, his other arm. There should be another piece somewhere. Where is it? Ah, there it is. The other arm. So I found doing the main body first is easiest, and then painting these separate and then gluing them all together is my way of doing it. I find two-handed weapons very hard to glue together because it's just, as you can see, there's three components. You're trying to glue onto a body and it's character building. On top of that, I then have the base. So it'll eventually look like that. So going for a very Chinese mountain pathway look. So that's what I've started off at the moment, but I'll do another video on basing. But today it's just about base coating this guy. This will be the first in a row of videos on painting up a single model. So base coat, and we'll do washes, and then the next video will be all my layering work. Video after that will be probably basing and gluing it together and finalizing it, so bear with me. Paints I'm using today: lead belcher. So these are all citadel paints. So lead belcher for all the metal, corn red for I think it's mainly just the underskirt. Yeah, underskirt and the underjacket. Rhinox hide for all the leather. Incubi darkness for all the jadey coloured areas. And then retributor armor for golden areas. For washes, we've got Nuln oil and Drakenhof nightshade. So Nuln oil for most of the model, Drakenhof nightshade is for the gold, just because it different way of doing it, I found, and it kind of cuts back on the yellow tones. So it ends up, yeah, that's how it ends up looking. So it's still kind of yellow, but it's kind of more golden. It's hard to describe. Once you see it with the wash, you'll understand. All right, so I start off with the messiest one first, which is all this metal plating. Because it's in the most recessed parts, it's the most painful to paint. So by doing it first, you don't have to be as careful with your paint application. You can just go in and just basically stab it on. With all my models, this process isn't the same one that I'll do with what else is metal that I've painted up. For argument's sake, a Deepkin model, that painting's technique style will be totally different how I apply it than I do these guys. It takes me a while to work out a system that works best for me for a model, and then once I've worked it out, it's kind of like rinse and repeat. So just showing you, being quite messy, doesn't matter. Come back through with other colors, kind of fix that up and tie it all together. Most people probably cringe that I paint straight from the pot, but it's what's worked for me, especially in the layering process. I'm not as fussed with it being as precise. Once it gets to the layering aspect, that's when I start to do a wet palette. It's something I've only recently started using, or recently, like last year. That's a simple reason of I was just set in my ways of painting straight from the pot, and then the day that I tried wet palette, I was like, wow, you get such a smooth transition. So for anyone that's unsure about a wet palette, try it out. You'll be pleasantly surprised. It may take a few more layers to get the desired outcome, but the transition is so much smoother. I'm also trying to combat the fan because it's drying my paint. So fun times. All right, so that's all the middle areas done. Just wash my brush. Put it to the side. So the next I'm going to do, that's going to be easiest, is the red. Probably going to leave the leather last and change my brush because it's in such close proximity to the metal I've just painted, and this brush has kind of worn down over the years. I don't know if you watched my other long process video, but this brush is Artis Opus Series M. It's a #1 brush, and I've painted, I've lost count how many models I've painted and how many hours I've done, but it used to have quite long bristles. Not upset about it, but now it's my base coat brush because it does still apply paint, which is great. It just doesn't do the detail work that I want. But that's all right. I have other brushes for that. Talking about brushes, if you can, I highly recommend these brushes. I've used Citadel, I've used Delta, I've used I don't know what brand they're called, Kolinsky I think they're called. I find with most brushes the tips will start to curl or they'll start to split. With the Artis Opus, jeez, that's a mouthful, brushes, I've been painting with this brush for, I want to say 2 years now. I think it's been 2 years, and only just recently did it start to show signs of wear and tear. So can't speak highly enough of this brand. I am solely buying these brushes from now on. They're beautiful bristles, beautiful make, and yeah, not once did I have a split or a curl. So yeah, pay the money for them, it'll be a good investment. All right, red's done. Next we'll go through and we'll do the jade colors, but I'm gonna switch my brush for the fabric that's just here, just because it's close proximity to what I've already painted. But I'll use the other brush, this brush for this bit here because it doesn't matter. So, okay, paint it on. So yeah, this brush I'm probably a little bit harsh with it. That's fine. Because these are new videos, if there is anything that people want to see or a technique I do that I can describe whilst painting, put it in the comments below and I will do my best to show you. Alright, change brush now, because I need to do that. Where's the rest of this blue? Here. And here. I was going to do a painting tutorial for the Jade Lancers that I'm currently working on, but then realized I'm almost finished them. So start with these guys. I do have to paint up another 5 Lancers, so when it comes time to do that, I'll do a video for them. But the goal is to get a spearhead painted up, and I'm using these guys as a count as for Cities of Sigma, Free Guild to be precise. So that is why they'll be on rounds and oval bases, because I can't be bothered trying to learn another game system that I'm probably only going to play maybe once. Also for me, Age of Sigma is a little bit easier to understand for my brain. So as you can see, adding the colours on, starting to already come to life. And that's just a base coat. Now, I need the bottom bit is blue. So I'm using the box art, which is the first time I've ever done box art. Usually I make my own colours, colour theme. Sorry, just being a little bit deliberate with where I'm putting paint. Yeah, so this is the first time I've done kind of box art, just because I think they've done a really good job with the colouring, and kind of okay with just replicating what they've done. So that's been done, that's been done. Have we got gems? Yes, we do, just there. Gem there. And there should be a gem on the helmet. Because I was going to do a red, black and gold theme. But once I saw their paint theme, I was like, oh, actually, no, that's actually kind of good. I'll keep it that way. All right, now for the browns. That's probably too much. And the best part of doing base coat this way well, base coat in general, the way I do it is I base coat and wash, and instead of doing it bit by bit, so doing the metal, wash that, then do another base coat, by doing all the base coat all at once and then washing it, if you're not a strong painter but you want something painted on the board when you play your games, this is a really fast way of doing it, because once I get a wash on this guy, it's basically tabletop ready. For me, I do like the detail work, so I tend to not put them on a tabletop until I've got all that detailing work done. But as I said, for someone that's maybe not so good on the painting side of this hobby, doing these two things, you'll have an army that's somewhat painted. You'll still have people come up and go, oh wow, that looks great. And also, it's just, in my opinion, it's better than playing with just grey plastic models. It just gives them a bit more life. But that's me. I know plenty of people that play with plastic models because painting's not their strong point or their thing that they like, which is fine. Not everyone has to be a painter. I suck at the gaming part of this hobby because the dice gods hate me for some reason. But I still have fun. Just coming in through there. So there were a couple of colours that I missed that whilst looking at this model and painting it, I worked out I've missed the skin colour. And this guy in particular has like a little sake bottle, and I paint them in like a kind of bony colour. So I'll grab those in a second and paint those up at the same time. So obviously doing a batch of 20 of these guys, you're not going to move as fast. But doing one, you can sort of knock it out in, depending on how fast you are, a couple of hours to a day, possibly. Just got all those browns. Yes, that bit's black. That bit's black. Oh, there's a little, what I call a little tea box thing on the back. So normally I like to put them on their base, because holding an oval base and swiveling it round is a lot easier than holding onto the model. But I wasn't that prepared, so we're doing it this way. And I do need to make my content a little bit more fun to watch than just me talking to a camera. But I've started off with this. This is like my 5th video I've done so far. Second big one. I've done 3 other short time-lapse ones as well. I'll get there eventually. Okay, so skin color. So for skin color, I go with Deathclaw Brown as my base coat. And for this sake bottle, I'm actually using Vallejo game color khaki. Numbers just there, 72.061 if that's the one you're after. We'll do that bit last. Skin is just their face and their hands, but I'll do all that separate. I'll just do this bit. So just go in and dab, dab, dab. And because I'm doing the skin, I use Agrax Earthshade as the wash for it. It's too much paint. That bit's done. Also, where's black? I use a Baden Black for... Maybe I won't be using Baden Black, it's basically gone. No, all good. Baden Black for... There's a belt just there that needs tidying up. This belt just here. So normally I do all my leathers in a brown. Sorry, I don't know why my voice keeps cracking. Do all my leathers in a brown. This is the first time I've done black as a leather. It's a learning curve. I'm not hating it, but I'm not entirely loving it. Through there, through there. And that's the best thing about this hobby, is that always learning. Oh, that's probably too much. Always learning and developing my skills. So, as I said, leathers I normally do brown. This is the first time doing black, and it's actually not that bad. So, scabbard, I do black, just to tidy it up. This little leather there, leather there. Give it a once over, see if I've missed anything. Doesn't look like it. Dropper bottle I have to put onto used up paint disc that I've got. It's literally just a base. Oh, came out a little bit too quick. Where did you come from? Alright, bottle. So this you may have to apply a couple of times to get a nice smooth consistency. And there are ropes that are holding it in place on model design that I'll come back and do at a different point. But for now, that looks fine. All right. You may have noticed I haven't done the boots. The boots will be black, but it's too hard trying to hold this model and paint. I need an anchor point, so I do the boots last, just so I can kind of hold on to them. Okay, last up, gold, and then we can start washing. I'm pretty sure. Actually, I'll brush off. I just realised this medallion on the medallion buckle needs to be metal. The one thing I find with these models is, especially as each year goes by, Games Workshop is really upping the detail to the point where I'll turn the model, and for instance, like just here at the back of the shoulder blades, there's red that I've missed, which it's not a detail, that's just something I've missed, but there are parts on the model, like little dots here on the belt, like little metal rivets. There's detailing in like the filigree of the belt buckles. So like, you're not spoilt for detailing on this range, and that goes for all of the models that they're doing. 40k, 30k, Age of Sigma, Old World. All the detailing work is just, oof, it's amazing. Shit. So just coming in and getting these detail works here. It's okay if you get a little bit messy on the black. Try and be as precise as you can, but the wash will kind of hide, like see I've just gone a little bit onto the black there. The wash will hide small mistakes, so I might get away with that. If it's too big, that's fine, you just come back with black and just tighten it up again. Gold there. Gold there. So I don't have a timer on, but basically I want to say it's probably been about 20 minutes, maybe, I don't know, and already I've almost got a tabletop ready miniature. So that's what I mean, like if you can get past the painting side of it and just kind of smack it out, you'll have tabletop ready miniatures in no time. And if you're not looking to win awards, that's fine. Me personally, I'm a type of perfectionist. I like to have all my miniatures painted, and that's just my thing. Would love to know from other people, what's the favourite part of their hobby? Put it in the comments below. Sorry, my hands were in the way just then, so you probably didn't see much, but just basically painted this little bit here. All right. The only other gold bit I think is this bit just here. I'm just gotta get the red. So this bit is gonna be very precise. There we go. All right, so I need the red and I need the brown, and then we're done with base coating. Red. Where's brown? You may ask, what am I doing brown again? So I totally forgot the little cap for the sake bottle. And then that little spot with the red. So this bit I have to be very deliberate with where I'm going. I can be somewhat messy in that the wash will hide a lot of mistakes. But the more deliberate I am with this bit now that I've done the other base coating parts, the easier it's going to be for me, that I don't have to fix up as much. There we go. All right. Oh, I need to do those. Oh, I can come back with those layering. All right, so now we are up to the wash side of it. Just making sure. Yep. All right. Washy, washy, washy. So I'll start with the blue, because there's only a few areas that will need that. The rest of it will be quick wash over. So see how I call it very yellow? Once I put this blue wash on, it's gonna mute it. So I don't know if that comes up in the, video. Hopefully it does, because it makes more sense if you can see it. Maybe this side will be better. So very yellow, and it just kind of tones it down. Very much like putting, it's kind of like the teeth whitening. Put yellow, purple tones onto your yellow teeth, I guess, to kind of whiten them up. Very technical terms I'm using. All right. So that's the yellows, blue parts done. I only really use the blue for the gold. Next up is nylon oil, and that's going to go on everything basically. Apart from Abrax Earthshade, which I'll quickly just put on the sake bottle. So see how it kind of hides a lot of those mistakes, which is good. And the bottom, and then quickly do the face. as I said, it's a quick process. And now we do the rest of the model. And this is where you can get messy. I try and put as much as I can into the metal areas, especially with this model, or these models, the scale, to try and get all of them kind of stick out, because I find sometimes the wash doesn't quite get into all of them, so you might have to do a second run. And again, if you accidentally get, say, black wash where you've done a brown wash or a blue wash, that's fine, it just adds more shading. So that's why I do black last. Do the back. Now the helmet, and we're basically done. Have a look over, have I missed anything? Probably up to here, needs a little bit more. Maybe there, a bit there. They're not taking the colour, are they? Struggling with that little bit area there. And there you go. So obviously he hasn't got arms on, but if you were to quickly do the base coating of the arms, glue them on, you've got a tabletop ready miniature. But come back for the next video where I'll do the layering side of this now. Just get rid of some of that. Yeah, so thank you for watching.